Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. We are in my Mason store. Down here, we have the expansion project ready for a new kiln, but I'm going to get to that in a little bit. We are still over here in the mountain home producing goods for Aavak credits rather than silver clovers because the economy is an interesting place right now. It's a very interesting place. Also, the votes and elections are an equally interesting place. Right now, I believe that the current vote is tied. Let's have a look at legislation. Yes, it's currently tied on adding a currency administrator with 14 minutes and 45 seconds left to cast some votes, yay or nay. I haven't really seen anyone discussing it much. A few people have posted a couple of notes on the web interface explaining their vote. Not too many, though, and myself included. I'm actually really glad to see people discussing things. Though, of course, if the vote for anonymous elections goes through, I mean, you know what? It's one of those things that what the earth just happened there? That went kind of a what just happened? Oh, Sheila. Okay. Everything turned topsy-turvy for me for a second. But one of those things with the anonymous election is if that goes through, I imagine people will be less likely to discuss their votes, though. It's a shame, really, because I'd like people to chat, to have a discourse, not so much to campaign, but to explain their reasoning. And I mean, I'm not gonna say that people wouldn't try to encourage other people to change their mind, though. That is a two-way. That's a double-edged sword, an absolute double-edged sword, because there's a very fine line between discussing with people your perspective in hopes that they might understand why you think and act a certain way, and perhaps even maybe see some sense in it and start doing the same, and badgering someone to change the way they think. Very, very fine line. Of course, I trust the dapperlings to understand the difference because I am an eternal optimist, if nothing else. Perhaps naive and a little bit world shy. Some might say, but they're just old and surly. No, I have absolute faith that the dapperlings would be the very dapperest people in all circumstances, both economic and political. Nevertheless, I am ferrying some sand up to the mountain home to make sure that there is plenty of bricks available for peeps to use on the various projects. I came all the way down here, and my bloody shovel is broken. Oh my lord. Okay, right. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna get my shovel repaired because I was a derp and I came back down here. But I am hopeful that we're going to be able to get some actual real discourse going in regards to political movings and shakings. I've been thinking, oh, chat, the amount of thoughts that have been buzzing around my tiny little brain. One of the big ones is kind of an evolution of what we were talking about previously about people in office and how to govern. The act of governing is always a little bit of a risky proposition to talk about this on stream in any kind of public forum where loads of people are going to be able to listen to what you think and how your brain works in regards to governance, because then lots of people can have different opinions and may take exception to the way you think. No, the dapperlings are a gentle sort, and even when they disagree, they do so in the most dignified and how do I put this without sounding like I'm lying? They disagree in a very no, there is no way that I can say this without it being a lie. Okay, so there's a little bit of ructions now and then, but they're only a little. Hopefully, it's all in good fun, and for the most part, I certainly think it is. So, with any game that has any kind of level of politics in it, there's always that risk that that Some people may feel a little bit strongly about it, perhaps because of their personal situation in life. Perhaps they live in a country where these are especially hot topics, and you've always got to take a little bit of time with that sort of thing and understand where people are coming from and why they might feel a certain way. But hopefully, my sincerest of hopes is that we'll be able to get something really cool working very soon. I am not a big fan of the whole system of people coming in and coming out, coming in, come out all the time. So regardless, I'm quite in favor of having a system where you can remove someone from office. So there is a way of getting them out, but they don't necessarily only stay for a certain amount of time and then automatically get removed. I'm as I said, if you're going to have a single person in charge in any capacity, you may as well commit to that and just see where their grand plan can take you. But with that said, I'm actually a fair fan of council. It probably comes from my experience as a child, and actually going to the Eisteddfod and speaking with, and in fact being taught with through a few years of my primary school life. What would that be? What would that be in the language of the Americas? Would primary school be high school? I'm not sure. I think high school and primary school kind of merged in quite a few countries, but nevertheless, like up to the age of 10. And one of my teachers was actually on the Druidic Council, so I got a good feel for this is a good way of governance. No, this is great. Not that it is used anymore in Wales, understandably, but it was a good time in the olden days when life was simple and the Druids made decisions for the betterment of the whole community. Nevertheless, I think having a trio of people, either a trio where majority rule is the case, because you can't have a tie with 3 people, and no option to abdicate, or abstain rather, or multiple people, but have to have a unified agreement on all things. And even then, you can actually start playing with lots of different governments. I mean, this is basically a political playground, really. Hey, Karen, thank you, or is it Charon? Thank you very much for the 8 months. I think I ask that question every time you so. Losbury, thank you very much for the 3 gift subs as well. That was incredibly kind of you. Apathy Kittens, hey, I'm popping in to say you're amazing, Aavak. Oh, thank you. That's incredibly kind of you to say. 14 indicate, primary school is not usually a single school in the US, but it depends on the size of the town. Oh, elementary school? Okay. Some parts only have elementary school and then high school. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Elementary school. It's not a term I'm particularly familiar with, I'll be honest with you. So how old are you when you leave elementary school? Also, by the way, is the general sound okay for everyone? Hopefully it is. I am trying to change things all the time. Aavak, my inner dwarf, wishes I reside in a mountain like you, but I've established myself at this point. So we will just have to settle for the underjungle. You know what, dude, man? The underjungle dwarves, there's, if you're talking Tolkien dwarves, not all of them lived in vast mountain ranges. What about the Blue Hills? Eh? They were a more social dwarven community, that one. Frequently visited. Thank you very much for the cheer there, Apathy Kitten. We're up to wow, there's a hype train and everything. Diolch yn fawr, pawb. We are a good ways, we're 25% of the ways to level 2. Thank you, everyone. The support is incredible with this game. My lord. Seems like the Dapperlings, not only do I enjoy playing community games with the Dapperlings, it seems they enjoy playing community games with me, or at least watching me fail at playing community games. I'm not sure. Leafin is continuing to try and pollute the world. For a time, I actually built a bunch of claims around his home to try and contain him, but then I felt bad because he couldn't put anything down. And it was actually quite distressing for me. Every time he tried to place down a cart in his courtyard, which I had since claimed, he couldn't place it down. I've just got too big of a heart to be a despot or justice, really. I'm going to be honest, because we need a strong hand to deal with Leafing, because he's actively trying to destroy the world, and everyone knows it. As soon as we get a courthouse, we're probably going to bring in some laws that curtail his ability to pollute the everything. But until then, he's running amok. Also, Chad, so many redwoods are gone. Old growth redwoods. We're down by a total of 15 now. This is dire news. Terrible news. Oh, Baggy K, thank you very much for the cheer, and Sumi as well. Thank you both. That's really kind of you. One thing I learned when communicating how UK school works in the US is that we aren't even consistent within England. Never mind the UK as a whole. That's very true. That's very true. Bentham. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. But yeah, so my idea. Oh, we're lagging. My idea. Oh, is the vote up? No, it might not be. Every time someone opens the vote thing, it yeah, I know, right, medians? Every time someone opens the vote the web interface, it does cause a little tiny bit of lag. And if a lot of people open it at once, it causes a big chunk of lag. Nevertheless, what I was going to say is I quite like the idea of having a council. And I was sort of thinking, now bear with me, if we had like three positions, and this council of wise people would usher us into a new age of enlightenment. And we could have, for example, roles like I'm not even sure what the overall title would be, but perhaps someone for the economy, you know, and they would have wide-ranging powers. They would have the powers to deal with the economy, you know, set taxes or make currencies, the official currency of the land, etc., etc. We could have someone for the environment, and they could enact their powers such as zoning, so you could have reserves where you can't hunt anything here, you can't chop down the trees here, and other places like this is an industrial zone. You can have polluting industry here, but nowhere else, leaf in. And then you might have I'm not really sure. You could have infrastructure, so someone who is responsible for trying to make sure that all the parts of the dappling community can communicate and free flow of goods and information between all dapperlings in the world, so that we might all overcome this terrible threat together. And I'm not talking about the meteor, wherever it may be. I'm talking about Leafin, that scallywag. But if we had three, then, you know, the idea would be this is kind of a multi-stage setup for the government, in that you would have three actual officials, which would each have their own role. And then you would have, once we've built the Census Bureau and can create new kind of groups, a councillor group. They all belong in that group. And then councillors can vote on things. They can bring in new laws and so on and so forth. The people would influence the council, and the council would then enact. They would take the will of the people and codify it in some function, and then the individual councillor or council member or druid or whatever you want to call them would then use their particular powers to enact whatever new laws have been brought in. So, you know, setting up a zone or adjusting the economy as necessary, or commissioning a giant wall to be built around Leafin, and then a giant roof to be built over Leafin, and then we will leave him in his box without any windows or doors for all of time. No, well, we won't. No, we'll give him a little bit of grass and a hole, a hatch at the very top where we can go and drop food in every now and then. But other than that, no, Leafin will be stuck in there forever. He will be entombed with all of his wet tailings. So a system like that, and perhaps something where once a council is brought in, there is no term in it, but they can be taken back out. Now, the assumption would be that if you had like a council of three, then it would be by majority vote that any particular thing would happen. But if it was like 4 or 5 and we had many different rules, then it would be a case of, well, it's majority. And perhaps even within that thing, you'd go let's go medieval, and or maybe even let's think King of Dragon Pass kind of way. And you could have a fool. So you'd have your council of elders, and amongst them you would take a fool, because the fool could speak his mind freely on whatever topic it might be. And if it offends them, well, it's just the fool. But what if he's saying the truth that everyone secretly knows in their heart of hearts, but cannot say on account of traditions and customs? But they truly, truly know that what the fool is saying is actually real, and is actually what everyone else wishes they could say. And if anything goes terribly wrong, well, it was the fool's fault, that bloody fool. Maybe we would have a role like that. You know, I'm a big fan of some of the older forms of governance, where you would typically have someone who would well, for want of a better word, always play devil's advocate, because that's actually kind of useful. Honestly, if someone's job is literally to argue the opposite side, it's like, well, okay, we should stop pollution, but then someone would be like, but what if we didn't though? What if the pollution was good for the planet? I mean, obviously, in that instance, they're like, you silly fool. But what if there came a time when something seemed utterly obvious to everyone? Like, no, it wasn't werewolves that ate all the people out there. They just got eaten by normal wolves. Don't be silly. And then the fool was like, but what if it was werewolves? And made some sort of sound argument. And as a result, everyone was like, maybe, I guess, maybe. And it was werewolves all along. You'd need the fool to be able to discover this important fact. We could have fun with it. It is a giant political playground. It's meant to be played with, ultimately. So make Leafin the fool. I mean, we could. Leafin, do you want the office of the fool? Very prestigious. Ultra prestigious. Leafin, I am no fool. If you call me a fool, I will sincerely cut you. With what? I am intrigued. Perhaps dangerously so. The office of the argumentative. I mean, we can have fun with all sorts of names, but we're thinking of big, a few steps down the road with all of this. We first need a system of governance. We need some officials in place. I'm not a big fan of putting in stopgaps for the simple fact that I live in Britain. I've seen let's put this temporary measure in. It'll be fine. We just need this just for now. It's absolutely, look, it makes sense for now. You can see the sense in it. You're like, yeah, I guess I can see the sense in it right now. That's fine. It'll just be here for a few months. We just need this just for now, just to tide us over. And then it's like, all right then. And a few months later, it's like, well, things aren't good yet. So we just need a few months more. And you're like, all right, then a few months more. I guess things aren't good yet. And then a little while later, things are good. And you're like, well, about that 20% VAT. It's like, what? I don't hear what VAT. I don't even know what a VAT is. Do you mean a van? We've got 20 vans. Yes. You have to buy them with 20% VAT. You scallywags. And they wait so long to fix it that another calamity has arrived. And then they're like, well, you're lucky we didn't change it. Could we just have had to have put it back? Bloody temporary measures. Not that I'm bitter, mind you. Please use a card, Aavak. You can move much less calories. I'm putting it up here. Well, I can't get a card up there, you see. Oh, what just happened? Let's have a find out. Motion failed. Well, I mean, I didn't want it to fail, but what I really want to see is I didn't want it to succeed, rather. I did want it to fail, and I voted for that, and I gave a reason. And this is, again, back to what I was saying at the very beginning. Sorry, I'm a bit rambly at the moment. I have voted in favor of the anonymous election simply because a lot of people want it. And whilst I vaguely prefer votes to be open because it encourages discourse, I appreciate that some people prefer not to. They prefer not to be challenged on it. And there are some very loud voices and there are some very, very big personalities who might not understand the aforementioned nuance between discussing why they vote a certain way in hopes of maybe encouraging someone to change their mind and trying to convince someone to change their mind. They are the same end result. The same end result is the goal, but they're vastly different routes that you're taking to get there. One is just simply saying, look, okay, so this is why I think the way I think. I'm not saying that the way you think is wrong. I'm not saying the way I think is right. It's just this is what I think and why I think this way. Now, what do you think about what I think? Does that change anything? No? Okay, well, what do you think then? Oh, right, okay, yeah, no, you've made a perfectly valid argument. I have no counter to this. I have changed my mind. That's what it would be like in a perfect world. But as I'm fond of saying, it is nice to hope and strive towards the perfect world of your dreams. But understand you're not there yet, and acting like the world you've got is the world that you want, mixed success, I'm going to be honest. You're quite likely to be disappointed. So, yeah, as much as I would like to believe that people could have this really, really healthy discussion and it would lead to wonderful, wonderful things coming in, I understand that it's not always going to be the case. And so some people will be, quite discouraged from even taking part in the political side of the game. I mean, heavens knows a lot of communities just straight up ban politics, and I have sworn never to do so in the Dapper Del. I credit the Dapperlings with a significant amount of common sense and also, as the name implies, dapperness. And I hope in every way that they will not only meet my expectations, but exceed them. And so far, they have been doing well. Well done, Dapperlings. A clap for you. But, you know, it isn't a perfect world. And I do understand that. The politics can be quite heated. And there are times when even the tea room gets a little bit warm. That tea gets spicy. But usually ends amicably and with everyone. If they can't agree, they at least agree to disagree in the politest of ways, and then go on their separate ways to enjoy their tea. Even Leafin sometimes drinks tea on account of how dapper the Dapper Del is. He might tell you he doesn't, but he secretly does. Nevertheless, I hope very, very firmly that we can actually get some sort of permanent system of governance in, that we can discuss it, we can think about it, and we can just say, okay, this sounds like a really good permanent solution. This is how it would be nice to have it run. And this shouldn't take us too long, hopefully. That is hopelessly naive, probably. But nevertheless, I'm continue to be naive on this matter, willingly naive on it, because I like the idea that we're actually all awesome people, and we could show the rest of the world how it is done. Aavak, every time Leafin drinks tea, he has to pollute the world 1% more to make up for it. Oh. Well, in that case, Leafin has been doing very good on the tea consumption lately. Well done, Leafin. A little clap for you as well. Well done, Leafin. I knew there was good in you somewhere, even if it is offset by a massive amount of pollution. But yeah, so that is hopefully what we're going to be able to put it in motion. Now, I'm going to need some help deciding on titles. I'll make a proposition. One thing I hope the server can agree on is we need to be courteous to other players in regards to how we create votes. Because it's very easy to swamp the government with things to be voted on, and then other good ideas have to wait for a while. So yes, my proposition is some amount of council members, 3 or more, and then depending on the amount, if it's something like 3, then or any odd number really, as long as there's no allowance for abstaining from a vote, then we will have majority rules in these matters, and the council will decide on all things. They will decide on the big decisions, and then the council member in particular in charge of that facet of the server will put these decisions into practice. The way I personally feel that the councillors should interact with their position is once they're voted in, they don't leave unless they are removed, and it should not be too difficult to remove them, like just by choice, really. Well, you know, they can abdicate their position, I guess, but you know, the general populace can just raise a vote saying, yeah, no confidence in this one. You need to, yeah, you're not doing good. We've accidentally voted in Leafin as the councillor for the environment. This was a terrible decision. Don't know what happened there. Probably we were all drunk, really drunk, to have made that bad of a decision. But we need to undo it, and you know, then it gets undone. The sincerest hope, of course, is that it is a game, and everyone playing right now understands that it's a game, and has a good healthy separation between gaming and presenting, you know, opinions and you know, their votes and what they hope is the best way to do it, and their ego. Their ego should be almost completely separated, and just enough ego to give them the drive to actually get out there and suggest these things, but not so much that if someone else said, no, I don't agree, that the ego just shatter and then collapse in on itself like a dying star, and then a huge explosion. I exaggerate slightly. That is the hope. That is the hope. It's a tricky thing to do. And it's not something I ever expect of anyone because it is actually quite difficult to do. Everyone, yeah, let's be honest, everyone's ego is a little bit up in their face. And yeah, if you ever suggest something and someone else says, nah, I disagree, even if they say it in the most polite way, you're going to be like, oh, poop. But hopefully that's as far as it goes. Instead of, well, I guess you just think I'm a trash person then, don't you? I may as well just go throw myself off the cliff. Oh, there's no fall damage. Well, balls. I'll go and feed myself to a wolf instead. Hopefully, you know, there's enough separation there. We'll see, though. Mangled Port. Leafin as the counselor for the environment. A very modern approach. I kind of want to cry a little bit at how true that is. Let's just take the most polluting person on the server and put them in charge of stopping the pollution. But yes, hopefully we can get a bit more chatter in terms of the governance going and actually push that. So to that end, I'm going to ask Medians. I don't know if she's in chat at the moment. If you are, well, you're just going to get the message twice. You can answer in Twitch chat or in the game. Let's find out if they need me to cart anything over. Nathan, send her an email, a text, a DM on Discord, a flying pigeon. I would never be disappointed if someone went to the effort of sending me a carrier pigeon to deliver a message, even if it was an important message and it got here 2 weeks too late. There would be a part of me that's like, wow, you went to a lot of effort. Thank you. Mortared stone is also always welcome. Pottery materials are a bonus, but not necessary. Okay, mortared stone. Let me check you out. Please don't tell me that I'm using it all. Masonry mortared stone project. I need to get some more limestone and make some more of these awesome little bits and bobs. I've got loads of mortared. No, I've got loads of mortar. I don't have loads of mortared stone. Okay. Well, see, the nice thing with this, I've got a load of stuff on me as well. I need to deal with some of that. Chunk. Oh, my diet is all messed up again. That's vexing. Let me go and drop off some odds and sods that I don't need to be carrying around with me all the time. Namely these. Oink. Then I am going to go and drop off the acorns. And I'm going to carry a load of mortar over to my masonry table at the site of the new, well, the proposed new, food, sure, I'll bring these with me. The site of the new shop. The Worm's Urn. Anything here we want? Don't think so. No, I don't think so. I need to... Oh, man, I'm running low on fuel, though. Running very low on fuel. Let's have a look here. There we go. Let's keep these braziers burning. Keep bringing in those sweet ability points. Right, okay. Now, I believe my cart is downstairs. I'm going to take over a bunch of mortar. And once I get there... Well, actually, that is going to come with me, but... Oh, damn it. You are vexing. Can I really not put it anyway? Ah, fine. Okay. I'm going to bring along the cart and the mortars that I can make the mortared stone over there. Sometimes you just got to find that sweet spot where you can access everything you need at the same time. It is a little bit tricky. I'm building the shop with that in mind. This is not something I knew necessarily. Any stone works, but the more variety, the more patchwork the appearance. Well, is patchwork what we're going for? I mean, if so, I can absolutely prioritize making as many different types of stone as we possibly can. But while I'm over there, I will see about possibly starting or proposing some sort of officials. Literally me, Twitch chatting while sipping an afternoon Earl Grey. Oh, wonderful photo note, okay. So, I considered getting the game the past few days, but thanks to my anxiety, I feel like it would be a liability on the server. And that made me really unsure whether to even get it or not. Oh, Jaina, there's nothing to be anxious about. I know that. I understand when I say that, I'm just saying that the anxiety you might feel is, you feel it. It's not to say it isn't there, but that I'm very hopeful that there would be nothing contributing to it directly. That is to say, please give it a try if you feel up to it. I'm sure you won't be disappointed, and if you are, as long as you haven't played for too long, then you can get a refund on it on Steam. But there's a really nice community. If I do say so myself, I shouldn't imagine there'd be any particular reason why you would need to feel anxious about things. Everyone is very understanding of new players. We're quite supportive around here, hopefully. To a fault, even, hopefully. Except that Scallywag Leafin. He's not supportive. Except when he is, which is most of the time, actually. This is why he's one of my mods. But still, I like to give him a bit of a hard time because he's trying to pollute the world. Right, I'm going to fill my backpack with stuff and things. Let's grab all these, if indeed I cannot carry many. Also, game. Oh no. Poop. What? Well. So, on the note of you game, why that timing was so bad.